Hello. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a great week. I know you have all been on the edge of your seats waiting for part 2 of this episode. If you missed last week's episode, we are in the middle of a great chat with Matt and Allie. Last week, we learned all about their recent elopement in Italy. But buckle your seatbelts because we are diving even deeper today. Matt generously shares insider tips on everything from SEO to achieving financial security as a self-employed entrepreneur. And if you've ever wondered how to make waves on Instagram, trust me, you will not want to miss what he has to say. So let's not waste any more time. Without further ado, let's jump back into our chat with Matt and Allie. Thanks for tuning into our edit sesh. I'm Effie.
And I'm Dorothy, two passionate photographers from Hamilton, Ontario.
Join us as we dive into answering FAQs, share tips, and discuss life's moments, all while savoring the rich aroma of our favorite brew and working through our edit cues. Whether you're a photographer or a pal,
we're beyond happy you're joining us.
Okay, we have some questions. We are thoroughly impressed with both of your Instagram followings and your exponential growth, Allie, that you've just had over the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Real cool.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's been a ride.
So you just post videos every day giving tips for brides on how to have like the best wedding day ever.
Yeah, I do them every day, which takes up a lot of time and can be frustrating, but obviously it pays off because people, I think especially I find that brides, they're so stressed about like how much money they're spending on things. So any like tidbit of free information that they can get is so wanted, and they just like save and compile as much advice as they can get, especially if they don't have a planner behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just keep on doing it.
Yeah, I love it. You're good at it too.
I feel like Allie's is really organic because like Allie was like, Dorothy, you should do it. And I was like, I don't know. And so I was like, oh, I'll try it. But I was like, I guess I'm doing it wrong because I was like, well, nothing's happened.
How long were you doing it before you said, oh, nothing happened?
Like 2 months.
How many videos did you post?
I don't know. I could count them for you. I think.
Is it like 20? Is it 10?
No, it's like 100. But like, I think the thing is I'm not really giving advice. Like some of them are funny, some of them are like shorter. But I had one almost go viral on accident, and it's like, it was like, I don't know if you saw it, Allie.
Was it the napkin one?
Yeah. To the point where I was just like, I don't want this to be on my Instagram anymore.
Oh.
Well, just because like people are like, this is disgusting. Like it's a controversial like topic, right?
Yeah, I get that. I have videos that have gone viral and there's just like arguments in the comments and people disagreeing with me, and I hate seeing it.
Yeah. So I just stopped replying and I would just let other people fight the battle.
100%. I end up walking away too because sometimes my mental health just can't take it.
Well, you're also just like not gonna win, you know? Like sometimes I'll like comments or whatever, but yeah, I think like if I were to go back to that post, like some people are like, this is disgusting, like, but then I see people like saying like, oh, well, I worked at a restaurant and like we never cleaned the napkins properly. And then also like I'm just people who are saying it's like straight up disgusting. I'm like, so you've never stayed at an Airbnb, you've never stayed at a hotel, you've never been in a hot tub. Like there are so many other things. Oh, actually, I heard this really fun tidbit this week that, sorry, Allie, if you like being clean, but that basically there's information out there that is suggesting that if we were to get like feces on our clothes and we just put them in the laundry, the way that we wash our clothes isn't enough to actually remove it.
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
So that's like everyday laundry.
Bad news for Allie's underwear.
Oh my God. Don't listen to anything he says.
got it. Taken. Since you guys are business gurus.
Matt is a business guru.
Okay, Matt, give me your top 2 tips for someone getting started with updating their website. Because we talked about a couple tips, but we want to see if they match up with yours and if we're smart or not.
So one of the things that a lot of people miss is obviously you have your homepage, you have your about page, And this is for photographers specifically, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Homepage, about page, and you have your contact page. And those are really the mini pages on your site. And you might have like an investment or a pricing page as well. So those are the core pages that you absolutely need to have for your business to run. But one thing a lot of people miss is a blog page. And blogs aren't what they used to be. It's not like, oh, here's what I did today kind of thing. It's like, here's information that people are looking for. Here's questions that brides are asking or grooms are asking. And you can provide them with the information, with the answers to their questions. And by doing so, not only are you ranking higher on Google, but you're able to show yourself off as an authority in that space. Right. So people are finding you, people are reading your stuff. They might read several blog posts or go to your Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And then they'll basically really connect with you as a photographer and be like, yeah, I should go with this person because they're so helpful to me.
Yeah.
And the important thing with a blog is like include photos, but the most important thing I would say is like do it consistently. Like if you can write a new blog post every week, which I know sounds daunting because it might take like 2 to 4 hours of your time every week, but that writing those blog posts are not only going to help you rank higher on Google, but it's a resource that you can actually use for your clients. Like if you get questions from your clients, like, oh my God, what is, I don't even know an example right now, but like a bad example, like what is business casual, right?
Yeah.
And you could show examples in that blog post, like, and like, where should you wear these types of clothes?
Right.
Right. Like
Yeah.
those kinds of events. So you can talk about that. So if somebody ever asks you that question, what's a good color palette if I want to go with like a cream colored dress? I don't know. And then you can actually show them examples, like you can use flowers like this or these types of flowers, or this type of tablecloth or whatever. Like I'm not a wedding photographer, I'm not a wedding planner, so I don't know all this stuff, but like,
you get
you
it.
can give
Yeah.
them all those examples.
Yeah.
And you could actually use that content to save you so much time instead of writing all that stuff out over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
where I would start with would be with the most frequently asked questions you get.
Right.
Take each of those questions and write a really in-depth blog post, like,
Yeah.
1,000 or 2,000 words with images and, subheadings and stuff like that.
That's so smart. Such a good idea. You've been doing that, yeah?
Yeah, I've been trying. I was writing maybe 2 a week. It is quite a bit of work. Yeah, I think my tip that I got was basically if you go to Google and you type a question in and then like a bunch of other questions come up below that, like those are other things that people are, I guess, Googling. So then you can also write posts on that.
Did you get that from Matt's Reels?
I actually don't know
feel like
where
I've seen that.
I got that from, but I mean, that's what I was trying to do. It's definitely hard to do all the things. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm on top of the blogging and then, you're trying to like make a reel and it's like,
Yeah.
you don't have time to do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's like one of the worst things about being a business owner. And I'm kind of in a privileged position because not only do I do this for clients, but I can do it for myself. Because like we do SEO, like help people show up higher on Google.
Mm-hmm.
We run ads, we create websites, all that kind of stuff. And like, I know how to do it. So there's no learning curve for me, but for literally every other business, like unless you have a budget to pay somebody to do that for you, like, unfortunately, you're in a position where you have to do it yourself. And it's like, it's such a big learning curve, which is like, that's why I'm posting all the time on Instagram and TikTok, like showing business owners how to do this stuff very easily and in terms that they understand.
Yeah.
Because like you guys, we're all in the same kind of boat, and it really does suck, like having to do all that stuff. And it takes a lot of time because you're a professional, like in this case, professional photographers, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what you do. That's what you're really good at. Like you can take a photo, capture a moment, and really, inspire the couple or the person that you took that photo of. And then on top of that, you're like, oh shit, now I got to write blog posts, I have to film videos, I have to be helpful, I have to show up on camera, I have to do my makeup, I have to do all of this other stuff just so that I can do the thing that I'm good at.
Yeah. Wow, I feel really like seen and validated.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I love your reels. They are very easy to follow, very actionable content. You can just like, you feel like you can implement it. And like, whether people are implementing it or not, you're making them feel like they can. So they're either saving it or sharing it, which is, I'm sure, why you've grown so much. Just because even I've saved so many of your reels, but I haven't actually gone to do any of that stuff. But I'm like, this looks so easy. I can do that.
Well, you'll go back to it at some point when you have time.
Maybe.
There's actually one reel that I mean, there's lots of reels that I like, but there was one that you shared of your experience getting started. And you were like pretty like vulnerable, I think, in the filming of that, because you were saying like, oh, I wasn't always this good. And, you know, we went through our ups and downs. Like, can you talk a bit more about growing your business, the beginning?
Yeah. So basically, sorry, Allie's handing out her phone to me so I can talk. So basically, I'm actually releasing a video today where I'm like showing my bank accounts, like not how much money is in them, but like how I have things organized. And that is a big part of like organizing money and like making sure you have cash flow. A lot of you, if you're a photographer, you're probably like a solopreneur, like you're not necessarily having a team. You might have a VA or something like that, but it's not really like a big operation.
Yeah.
Like I have a team and I need money cash flow for payroll taxes. I have HST, which we all have HST to pay for if you're in Canada. And then just like corporate tax if you have money left in your bank at the end of the year. So there's like all these different things that you need to pay for all the time. And I have 2 other additional accounts. So all the things that I just mentioned, I have specific accounts that I put money into for all of those things. And the 2 accounts that are the most important to me are, it's not the payroll taxes, not the HST, or anything like that. It's number 1, the profit account. Mm-hmm. So anytime I get money coming into my bank account, I take 10% of that and I put it right into the profit account. And I started with like 1% of whatever came in until I got to a point where I was like, okay, my margins are better, they're good enough. And then I started increasing that, like, you know, year over year, like however often I could, to get to like that 10% into the profit. The profit is great because a lot of the times business owners don't take money out of their company. They just keep spending money back in their business. And it's good if you're, you know, really growing, but it's bad as, you know, a person and your mental health. You're like, I'm doing all this work, but I'm not getting anything out of my business.
Yeah.
Which like, I'm sure we can all relate to. Like there's been times where I'm just spending like, you know, tens of thousands of dollars a month just to keep things running. And I'm like, oh, like I don't have enough money to pay my credit card for the groceries we bought this week. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, and then the account that is the absolute most important to me besides the profit account is the cash flow account. So I'm very much, is it a realist or a pessimist? But I'm also very much optimistic at the same time. But when it comes to money, I'm like, something could happen. I could lose clients. Like I won't have enough money, or something pops up where I have to spend a bunch of money. You know, whether it's vet bills or the car breaks, or, you know, I need to replace the roof on the house. And then all of a sudden I have no cash. So I have this cash flow account where I save 3 months of my like total business expenses. So if it costs you, let's just use round numbers, if it costs you $1,000 a month to run your business, for all the software, for all that stuff, like I save $3,000 in that case so that I can run my business for 3 months if I'm not getting any revenue.
Right.
And I did that for the last couple of years, and that account got pretty big. And last year, I actually parted ways with my biggest client, which was responsible for a lot of money a year. And I ran my business for like 6 months at a detriment from that one account, so I could keep my team, so I could continue working and, you know, try to get more clients.
Right.
And that like really saved it. Like by the end of it, I think I had like $500 left in that account. By the end of things, when things started picking back up. So it's almost like an emergency fund account kind of thing. But yeah, so that's a big part in like growing a business, like managing the money coming in, because like you can get clients, you can, you know, work hard at that. You could do your SEO, you could do reels, but like if at the end of the day you're not managing how much money is coming into your business and like where it's going and allocating all that, like you're setting yourself up for failure.
Right. That's such a good tip. I think I do kind of the same thing. I don't have separate accounts, but I'm always cautious of how much money is in my bank account. And I feel like I usually have at least 6 months because
so
photographers, like I don't work half the year. I just like grind for half of it and then just don't do shit the other half. So I feel like I need a bigger one.
There's nothing worse at the end of the year when your accountant or if you're doing it yourself and you find out like, oh shit, I owe like $10,000 or $15,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
And I don't have that money.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
I spent it because I didn't know what I would need to do or how much I need to save. And doing it this way, it's like, cool. I have, X percent, like all the HST that comes in goes into a separate account. And I'm like, oh, I'm actually not rich. That's like government money that I'm just holding on to.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Yeah. Are you
investing? It's free to open up e-savings accounts.
Yeah. Are you investing any of those accounts? Are they in investments or are they just chilling?
So with the e-savings accounts, like at least with RBC, I think it's like a 2 or 3% interest rate if you have money in that account.
Yeah, that's
so like say you had 10 grand in there, you're holding on to HST for the year or whatever. Like you can make $300 or $200-$300 off of that just by having it in your account.
Yeah,
right. It's like free money. It's crazy.
Yeah. Sure, that's great.
Well, I wanted to know how you came up with Hey Tony.
So for everybody listening, Hey Tony is the name of my agency. We do digital marketing, mostly helping people show up higher on Google. So the name Hey Tony came from, I was walking down the street like years ago when I was living in Toronto, and I overheard these two really big, burly, manly men construction guys talking, and the one guy goes, "Hey Tony, you always know how to put a smile on my face." And I just thought, I'm like, what a genuine expression of emotion from somebody you wouldn't expect to have that, that type of sentiment or that type of communication. And, like, hey man, like you make my day better. You make me smile. You make me happy, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's the kind of transparency and genuine, happiness I want to have between myself and my clients and myself and my team or whoever we work with or whoever like the business touches in whatever way. I want everybody to be happy. I want to put smiles on each other's faces. Like, let's not walk into a meeting and be like, oh shit, this guy again. So that's why I called it Hey Tony.
I love that. Hey, Dorothy.
Stop.
Hey, Dorothy.
Hi, Dorothy. So yeah, this is a question about like, I assumed that you were sole owner. I didn't know if you had employees, but I was wondering, like, do you ever have that idea of like expanding? Like, it seems like for a bit there, maybe websites. I mean, this is my perspective, but maybe I'm wrong. But it felt like when Instagram started, it was like we just did all of our work there. And now things are shifting back to where like, oh yeah, websites are important again. And it seems like people are putting that effort in. So do you feel like expansion is in your future?
Well, last year at this time, I had 3 employees and now I have 10.
Whoa.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So things are really growing. It's really great. And that comes with its own challenges, not only in like, making sure you have enough cash and payroll tax and stuff like that, but making sure everybody's happy and that you have enough communication on the team. People are doing their jobs. People are doing their jobs well. But most importantly, that like everybody's having a good time, because that is like the essence of Hey Tony. Like, let's put a smile on each other's faces. Like we do a 4-day work week. We take Wednesdays off, not a Friday or Monday. So it's like, I do believe in that work-life balance, and we're also not working like I know a lot of places do like 4 10-hour days instead of 5 8-hour days.
Right.
I'm like, let's do 4 8-hour days, and that you're taking breaks throughout the day. My entire team's remote, so I don't really know what they're doing. If they're working 100%, 7 or 8 hours, or if they're like taking time, whatever. It doesn't really matter as long as the job's getting done, but by taking Wednesdays off, you're always a day or two away from like a day off where you can like refresh, relax, and kind of reset everything that's going on. And I don't know about you, but on Mondays and Fridays, like try going to the doctor or dentist or like doing an appointment.
Yeah.
Like people are taking those days to do that. But on Wednesdays, when I go to Service Ontario to renew my, driver's license or something, like there's no line.
Yeah.
Nobody's there.
Until
and it's just like,
people hear this podcast and they're like, Wednesday's the day.
well, yeah, and it's tough because like unless you run your own business or you have the opportunity,
Yeah.
it's hard to convince your boss to be like, hey, can we, one, go down to 4 days a week, and two, can we take Wednesdays off? And they're like, why? That's the middle of the week. Like, what are you doing on Wednesdays, right?
Yeah. I have two questions for both you and Ali. One is about like you guys both seem like very invested in community, obviously like online in real life. Ali, especially with photographers having the meetups and even just like in your personal life, Ali. And then my second question is eluding me, so hopefully I remember that. Oh, I know. It seems like you guys have a lot to learn from each other, like in terms of like SEO and even like TikTok and Reels and stuff. And I'm sure Ali has taught you a lot about enjoying life and other things I actually don't know, but you can, I was just going to say like, what? I was going to say like, maybe you could like talk about that experience. Like, do you work well learning from each other? I know Ali and I have also spoke about like how her website is lacking right now. So
yeah. So I'll just start. Ali now, like her reels on Instagram, like I showed her how to do this, which I'll tell that story in a sec, but I showed her like my method on how to do it, and she's taking me to school with that. And sometimes it's like aggravating. I'm like, you got 1 million views on a video. I'm like, I haven't hit 1 million views on a video in like 4 or 5 months. Like, this is, oh my God, so sorry, our dogs.
that's okay.
I'm like, how are you doing this so consistently? And, it's just kind of frustrating there. So I am like, sometimes I watch Ali's reel and I'm like, can I do something similar? Can I use similar wording?
Aw, I think you just have to be like
definitely...
pretty.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest downfall. Oh, sorry, to answer your question about how many reels I've posted, it's 60 consistently.
Okay, so 60 in 2 months?
I don't know,
Probably.
in 60 days. So that's 2 months, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so that's great. That's like 100% what you should be doing. Just as a reference, I started posting on Instagram in January 2023, so just over like a year and like 2 or 3 months ago. And I started with like 0 followers. It took me, I think I did 300 videos in 6 months. I started doing 3 a day at one point. And I was like, I really just need to figure this out and, accelerate my learning curve. And it wasn't until 6 months in, like after 300 videos, that I had a video that, my videos were maybe getting 1,500 views, and that was a good video for me. But then one of them just got 1 million views within like a week. It went from 0 or like from 1,000 followers to like 15,000 in like a couple weeks. And during that time, another one of my videos also went viral, got like a couple million views. I was like, oh, I think I figured this out. So, Dorothy, you may have stopped like, digging 3 feet from gold. Like you may have been really close to figuring it out, but like the challenge that I did for myself was I'm going to do this every single day for a year.
Wow.
And see how that impacts my life or business, like good or bad. But at least at the end of the year, I can say, okay, I tried this. I gave it a real try.
Right.
And
Real try.
I'm into it. And it ended up working out. And like now I'm at like 170,000.
Yeah. I think I'm just running out of
crazy.
like actual advice or tips, and then like I'm like, I don't want to copy anybody, so then I have it where I'm like, I can't even go to Ali's page because I'm like, I'm just gonna repeat her video. So
Well, I don't care.
Yeah, so
I know, but
that's the thing. Like all the information that you can possibly talk about exists on the internet
yeah,
already. Like you just need to put your own spin on it. Like, yeah, you can talk about, I don't know, the same thing that Ali talks about or another photographer, but talk about it in a different way, put your own spin on it. And the biggest thing is like, you should be scripting your video and like have a really good idea of exactly what you're going to say and what the visuals are going to be before you even start filming.
yeah,
Like for those first 6 months when I was posting videos, like I didn't write a script. I had a vague idea before I hit record. And that is part of the reason why they didn't do so well. And then, so when Ali started posting, like 3 months ago now, she had already been doing some reels like the previous year, but like nothing really hit.
Yep.
And so the first one, we sat down, Ali's like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I forced her to do it. And we sat down and I helped her write a script for a video. And she was crying. She was like, I hate this. This is the worst.
Frustrated.
It's so frustrating.
And then to answer your question about learning from each other, this was like the most frustrating thing because Matt sometimes, like, when he can see the end goal of something, he's not explaining like how to get there, and he's just jumping ahead, and I need all the details to understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I was just like beyond frustrated about it.
Yeah, so that first video that I helped Ali script, we actually wrote like, I think it was like 5 sentences long. Like it wasn't anything crazy. But we spent like a good hour just writing the first sentence and like iterating and reiterating. But it was like to show Ali, like, this is the process. You need a good hook and you need to give people a reason to keep watching the rest of the video. And that video, it ended up getting cut off for some reason on TikTok.
Yeah, no, because my B-roll, like that I had in the background, ran short, but I didn't have enough time to see the rest of the script on it, which reminds me of your video on Viral, Dorothy, because I know yours just like uploaded when you weren't done with it.
Yeah.
And that was like very similar to the first one. I like posted when I got back into this, and it like still worked, still made enough sense to post.
Yeah.
And then it popped off, but like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It got over 1 million views, that first video that we scripted together. I was like, holy shit, I think I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And since then, like, I've helped like several other people like script videos and like get millions of views, which is like, I'm like, I should be charging for this, but I don't do that professionally.
All right, so you're gonna email me you're gonna email me this later.
I did too. So I did a live stream on Instagram where I was like, okay, guys, like, you're gonna help me like script and film a viral video. And that was the first time I actually tried this, with some other input. And people just on Instagram live, I'd be like, okay, we need a topic. They're like, okay, here's the topic. And I'm like, okay, like we can do something with that. And then I was like, okay, we need a hook. Like the hook is like the first 3 seconds of the video, first like sentence you say, and that needs to be some like a promise that you're making, not actual promise. Like, I promise I'm going to show you this, but like by the end of this video, you're going to learn how to do this kind of thing without saying those words. And then I was like, cool, we need the second line. We can't reveal the promise yet. In the second line, we have to keep people kind of on the hook, like, oh, I want to learn more. And anyways, I did that video, and like the video I did live, I actually filmed it while I was live and edited it and got feedback along the entire way. And I think that video has almost like 2 million views at this point. And I'm like, holy shit, like I have a formula for this. And I also, the second time, and these are all recorded, by the way, I have them on YouTube. They may be unlisted, but I can send you a link if you want to put it in the show notes for this podcast or something. But the second one was I helped this influencer from Toronto re-script a video that she had done. I was like, oh, it's a really good topic. And we re-scripted it, and she filmed it herself, like afterwards and all this stuff. And I think it's at like 3.1 million views. That her first video was at like 1,500 views.
Yeah, it's so hard because like the hook, sometimes I'm like, oh, cringe. Like I don't have a hook that I'm like, this is the best advice you'll ever get or whatever. But Matt, it would be a really cool experiment to like, if you're up for it, like go to one of my videos and be like, okay, this is how this could be better, and tell me how to refilm it. And I'll literally do it. I want to see if it would get more views. Like if you're up for it, if not, like that's totally fine. But I feel like it would be a really cool experiment to see. But yeah, I definitely think it could be what I'm doing. It's like, sometimes they're a fun video and sometimes they're advice. Like I'm kind of all over the place because like in sense, like I do want to have more fun with it. And I don't know. I was willing to give it a definitely a try, and I'm like, it works, it doesn't. But yeah.
Number one, I think you need to give yourself more time, like 60 days. Like I would have stopped after 60 days. I would still be like struggling in my business. I would have no followers.
Yeah.
And I'd be jaded and like, oh, this shit doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I think over time too, if you keep posting every day, you start to figure out what your style is and what your approach is. And if like one of those videos sticks and it's like, oh, I really actually liked how I was communicating in that, or
Yeah.
how effortless it felt, then you can like tap into that approach more.
Yeah. I would
and figure
definitely
it out.
say I've noticed that in your videos, Ali. Like, it does seem like you have like really good information. I don't know if it's because, again, like you were married recently and as a photographer, yeah, like I feel like it's very authentic and it seems like very much who you are. So yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So part of the thing too is like, not every video you make should be going viral, and like that shouldn't be the intent. Like, some of the videos that I make or some of the reels I film are intended to reach like my core audience, like people
Yeah.
who watch every single thing that I do. Like, yeah, just like more general stuff that's not like a tip or anything like that. Like, that stuff will resonate with a smaller group of people and it won't go viral, but you'll be creating like fans for life, but like people who really connect with you. And that's a big part of it as well. So even if your stuff's not doing crazy well or reaching a ton of people, like, also think about it this way. Even if your video gets 200 views, like, try fitting 200 people into your house. That's
Yeah.
a lot of people. And that's always been my philosophy even since I started. Like, and Ali can attest to this as well. I was like, Ali, like, 1,000 people watch my video. This is crazy. Like, that's so many people. And like, now every video I post gets like, 10,000 views, like minimum. I'm like, cool. Like, I could sell out the First Ontario Center here in Hamilton and, fill that room with people who have watched that one video.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you get into things that like have millions of views, you're like, wow, like that could have been the entire city watching my video. Like, it's kind of surreal.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely convinced me to give it longer because I was like, I don't know, maybe this just isn't for me. And I do script my videos because like, and again, not super scripted. Like, I don't write exactly what I'm going to say, but I have like key thoughts. And I'm also limited on time. Like, I basically do these while I'm watching Maisel and I have like an hour to do everything that I need to do. So that means like working out, washing my hair, post a video. So I'm doing what I can in the space, but like Ali saying too, like doing it for a little longer, I might just like get more comfortable or be able to communicate in a better way. So I'm definitely going to give it a try. So yeah, you guys both inspired a lot of goodness and I love that. And I know this was only a short, I mean, it was long, but a short chat. But yeah, like you guys can let us know where we can find both of you on Instagram or TikTok or website.
Yeah, heytony.agency, or you can just look up heytony.ca and you'll find everything there.
Yeah, and my TikTok and Instagram are ali.turton.
Did you change your last name, Allie?
No, I'm on the fence about it.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
same.
weird because my business name is my current last name.
Yeah. Just seems like a lot of work.
I haven't changed
It does.
mine, but
It's a lot of
now
admin.
Yeah.
now that I have a kid that has Ruben's last name, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll change my name because I want to have the same last name as Maisel, not Ruben.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can also go by like, in public by your maiden name, and then just like your actual name is just like on your driver's license. Like,
Yeah.
nobody needs to know, and like it doesn't really matter.
It's
Yeah.
true. It doesn't. Yeah. Also amazing.
Do you guys know what you're having for lunch?
Yeah, the same thing every day. Chicken protein wrap.
Wow. We should try that.
We're like, oh, that's so
healthy.
healthy.
Good.
We meal prep it at the beginning of the week.
Oh
to
my
make it
God.
easier.
That's awesome. You would do that. I know because you're doing 75 hard again, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm almost halfway.
Wow. Good job.
I feel like we should get a group doing that because I was on
Loved
one.
it. Yeah.
And I didn't partake, but I was in the group message and we were like, all right, everybody. And I just watched everybody else do it. But I mean, like,
I really like it.
It's
It's good to have people that are also doing it so you have the support and like
Yeah.
push to keep going for sure.
Yeah. The reading was the hardest part for me, I think, and water.
yeah,
Yeah, water can be tricky. You got to be on it.
That's a lot.
why don't we
It's
do it?
hard.
We should do it. It's leading up to
guys,
wedding
we should do
season.
it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We can talk about our experience.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Bye.
Bye.
guys.
I think Tony had a lot to...
I know.
Stop it.
That's okay.
Oh. I forgot that we were still talking about... No, it definitely, like, Tony had a lot of great things to say, and I loved hearing their experience, and, like, we didn't even really ask Allie about, like, her business. I mean, everybody knows what a photographer does, obviously, but, yeah, I think he just had a lot of great stuff to say and great advice, and...
So much good advice.
But anyways... I think we should do 75 hard. I think it would be really great for us, mostly me.
Okay.
Because I'm really trying to get in like season shape, like actually, and I think I'm doing great. I feel like I was saying that I was like, I've gotten some of my like muscle back, and now I'm like, well, I'm bigger, so that's good.
Muscles.
I was like looking at my legs, I was like, they're thick. But I think like because like right now I work out after every meal, not for 45 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, we can do a modified 75 hard. Like it doesn't have, because the actual 75 hard is rough.
So here's the thing is like I eat my meal and then I work out for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then I usually bike for 30, and then I go for a walk at dinner time. So that adds up into like 2 45-minute workouts essentially.
Yeah, you're basically already doing it.
Yeah. So, and I'm already following a diet, and like I think there's just something to be said about like mentally putting yourself in a position to remember it. Because like I have to take all these like new meds, and I'm like, I definitely I've fallen off taking like my drink of water. I bought a book to read at bedtime, and I was doing really well. And then, like, you get busy and you forget. So, like, I think purposely doing something like 75 hard, especially going into wedding season, I think would just be, like, really great.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to have, like, right now we have the time.
Yeah.
We're going to do it you're supposed to do it for 75 days?
Yep.
But,
in
like,
a row. You can't miss a day or else you just start over
but, like,
again.
Do we want to just, like, do we cheap out and just be like, we're going to do it for 1 month?
No, we can do 75. Why not?
Might as well give it a try.
Matt's gonna be on us and be like, you were so close.
Yeah.
Why did you stop?
On day 60, I'm gonna give up. And he's like, you almost had traction.
All right, I'm down to do it.
All right, I'm so excited.
We'll get some other people in on it too with us.
Yeah, I'm so excited to do this with you. You're gonna do great.
I've done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw like huge results.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
My thing is I have to like lose weight and then see the result, but you're like already primed to like just have the results.
No, it's just the actual working out twice.
Yeah,
well, I'm not going to make my second one a workout. It's going to be a walk with Juno.
Exactly. That's the thing is like it could be a dance party. It could be like yoga. It could be stretching.
Yeah.
And like, again, like I'm not going to be a stickler if it's 30 minutes versus 45 minutes. Like I'm just not going to be a stickler. If you're getting 2 workouts in, I'm like, you're doing it in my eyes. And somebody might come at me with that and say like, no, you're not doing it. But I'm going to say if you're doing at least 2 30-minute workouts, like, gold star.
Gold star.
Gold star.
Love that. What are you looking forward to this week? Do you have anything coming up?
Oh, I already read everything that's coming up that I'm super excited about. The photo walk tomorrow. I want to do like a blossom hang.
Oh yeah.
And
is it coming already? The blossoms?
The last year I went April 27th. So like was that 2 more weeks?
And they were good?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what I have coming up this week because my phone's over there.
I could chuck it at you.
Yeah, chuck it. I also don't have anything booked for next week. So hopefully the weather's nice and I could just go golfing.
You can come over, help me write scripts for podcasts or for TikToks. I
don't want to do it.
I know. I was going to be like, you should do it with me. You're like, no.
I don't care about followers.
Yeah.
Although if I had more followers, maybe I would have more work. I wouldn't be sitting around. But I like sitting around and golfing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
What's for lunch? I have no idea.
I have leftovers.
Okay, cool. Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, where can they find you?
They can find me at FB Edits Photo on Instagram.
Nice. And they can find me at DorothyMay_.
And also follow our podcast Instagram.
Yeah, because we're super hilarious.
Super hilarious. You can see our viral videos.
30 likes.
Edit Sesh Pod. Follow us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.